Hello, my dear audiences. Welcome to the East-West Show. Jack Zhao on the East-West Show with G&E TV, trying every bit we can to bring you information that we believe you need it. Right now, we're talking about the whole news, the whole international news, dragging the attention to the fact that in China, in Beijing, in mid-May, on the 14th or the 15th, a summit of called the Belt and the Road is going to be held, and it's going to be attended by 20 more something countries, including Russia, and it's focusing on how we want to deal with Asian Pacific region, whatever problems. And it's such a significant move that I find myself very interested in. Me and my crew at this moment, we have done 2 discussions about it, and yet we feel that we are, well, it is quite necessary that we want to do one more. Today, joining me in a discussion to find the essence of the big act, I call it the Millennium Act. That's exactly the title of the show today. Is my good friend, Mr. Edward Tsai. He is the president of Jiangsu, U.S. Jiangsu General Chamber of Commerce. And Mr. Tsai, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And Mr. Tsai is well known in Southern California and also in the U.S. When Chinese Americans are concerned, he is a wonderful leader of all the Chinese community, U.S. Chinese American community. And in addition to doing business, which is super successful, he's very super active in political issues, especially in the term of promoting U.S.-China culture exchange, trade promotion, and whatever, even technical cooperation. So for that, we give him 2 thumbs up. Yes, Mr. Tsai, to my audiences who just heard about the term, right? So the Belt and the Road. So what is the Belt and Road? Who initiated, and what does it include, please?
Actually, I pay a lot of attention to this topic. Learn a lot from the news through the televisions, newspapers, the website, something. From my understanding, the One Belt One Road is a development strategy and a framework proposed by the paramount leader, Mr. Xi Jinping. That focus on the connectivity and development cooperations among the countries between China and Eurasia. This, I remember, is mentioned by Mr. Xi during the September and October of 2013. And the Premier, Mr. Li Keqiang, also promoted this during his state visit to Asian European countries.
And I believe that I first heard the term, the Belt and the Road, in the year of 2013 when I was in China. I was paying a visit to one location in China. I heard about it. Well, the Belt and the Road, and later it came to a more talk about it. And this year, when this is officially announced on the news, of course we get excited. At least I get excited. And I'm not a political person. I do no politics. I hate politics. But the thing is that when you put an approach, right, in a world nowadays, in the international environment, by that I mean an environment that people are so mesmerized in talking about who's got the stronger muscles, and yes, somebody all of a sudden pushes up a new kind of goal of doing the Belt and the Road thing. So in terms of awakening people, what significance does it make?
Frankly, the One Belt One Road is a big topic, but mainly I don't think it's a political issue. It's it's just the economy.
Okay, very good. I agree with you. It's not a political issue. Okay.
You know, we know it brought the the political influence, but still we saw from 2013 as of today, the One Belt One Road, the countries means work with China. We have the export amount over $17 billion. That's a huge chance to, you know, to bring the benefit between China and those countries.
And you are quite involved, very much involved in U.S.-China trade. I believe that you do a lot of that on a day-to-day basis. And the other day, I mean, last time we met, you mentioned about the U.S. trade deficit with China being $374 billion or something, if I'm right with the numbers. And from that aspect, how do you assess the function this Belt and the Road thing would help offset the trade deficit, please?
Actually, the One Belt, One Road, the main purpose is to use China as a platform to set up the relationship, including trading, investment, and mostly I know the Mid East area. There are a lot of chances for the infrastructures. So,
infrastructure, okay.
There are a lot of potential to invest, trade with those countries, going to benefit to both the countries with China and the people. I mean, you mentioned about the trade difference between the U.S. and China.
The deficit, yes.
So now people are talking about if it's the right time for the U.S. country to join this party, One Road, One Belt. It's hard to say because the One Road, One Belt is the policy and the rules are is promoted by China. It's kind of the state behavior. But the U.S. mostly the government will not supervise the enterprises to do any business, to lead the enterprise to business. It's like a marketing behavior. Secondly, I think the U.S. I mean the past government with Obama, they may have the different strategies about this. So we heard of the Pacific Rim, the trading connections, the agreement. Even not signed it, but they mentioned about that. So I don't know if the U.S. leaders, they think about they may not allow the China to leading the trading or economies in the world.
But U.S. backed off from the partnership, the Pacific Ocean Partnership, right?
Yeah, Pacific Ocean, but we talk about the Pacific Rim. It's not kind of the One Belt, One Road. It's different, but there's some like they have the same purpose or repeat the purpose. Means their purpose also to promote the business, the tradings between the countries. But there's some difference.
I see. And also there are people saying that U.S. is trying to be responsible for the world, so does China. And China is trying only in a different way. So lots of people giving different comment about that, and some even say that you could save the world by being a cop of the world. You could save the world by being a banker of the world. You could save the world by being a strategist of the world. So obviously, China takes its own way of saving the world. Am I right?
So if we want to talk back about this topic, I think we need to realize what is the real One Belt, One Road. So for maybe the Western countries, they still not realize deeply but what is the route and the Belt and Road. So I think the purpose China put this out is just want to use the China as the platform to develop more relationship with the relative countries and to benefit these countries on both sides.
I see.
So maybe some Western countries they think, but it's a political issues. So we need to clear this one.
It doesn't look that China provides only a platform. It provides us money, too. There's a lot of money involved. Speaking of the what is it called, let's see, AIB, Asian Investment Bank, right? The AIB. And China took a lead in it, and it's mostly Chinese money. So in other words, China is not only providing itself as a platform, but also with this money, lots of money.
Yeah, this we talk about this one. Actually, China borrowed the ancient we call the Silk Road, and we borrowed the historical symbols and hold high the banner of peaceful development, and actively develop in along the country's economic partnership together to create political mutual trust, economic integration, and cultural inclusions of the interest of the community and the fate of the community and responsibility of the community. For all the countries within this community, they were developed together. Yes, China not only just output the excess capacities. China also invest money. Yeah, also help these countries to build up their infrastructures. So it's not only just want to receive or get something from these countries. China also give and help. So that's kind of the big country's responsibility.
That's a very healthy take, I believe.
Yeah.
My dear audience, today we are once again talking about the Belt and the Road, a Belt and Road, and we're talking about the Belt and the Road that are proposed by Chinese government in terms of their efforts to save the world otherwise. When I say otherwise, I mean there are different ways of saving the world. Like I said, it could be a cop in saving the world, you could be a banker saving the world, you could be a strategist saving the world. It looks that China took the latter two. So joining me in my discussion is my good friend Edward Tsai, President of U.S. Jiangsu General Chamber of Commerce. Let's take a very short moment now. When we come back, we won't go deeper into the Belt and the Road, see exactly what is that. So stay still and stay with us. We'll be right back, please. Hello, dear folks. Welcome back to the discussion about the Belt and the Road. One Belt, One Road, a Belt and Road proposed by China in terms of trying to boost Asian economy. It's a big strategy that is echoed by lots of nations. At least 20 nations are kind of interested. At the summit, which is going to be held in mid part of May in Beijing, they say the attendances will include the supreme leaders of 20 countries, more than 20 countries. And yet we are expecting the United States to join the party. It's a big party. It's a non-partisan, no politics party. It's a party about tomorrow. Okay, now, anyway. And with me today is my good friend, Mr. Edward Tsai, President, founder, and CEO of U.S. Jiangsu General Chamber of Commerce. Once again, sir, welcome to the show. Okay.
Thank you.
Now, somebody say this. It was termed during the past election saying that I support you for the purpose of supporting, and I oppose you for the purpose of opposing. Which means if you and I do not get along, anything Edward pushes forward and propose, I go against. Because it is you proposing. I supposed to go the other end, go the opposite. So it looks to me that when China proposed this, does U.S. take a right position to support it? Or does U.S., I don't care because you, China, proposed it, I don't even care. So am I right to give analysis like that?
My opinion is that nowadays the world become different. More and more the developing countries, they come out to take more responsibility to the world. So one country cannot handle whole world, like America or the previously Russia. They call it the strong countries. But I think if we want to keep the peaceful for whole world and to have the thriving together, I think the country, between the country and the country, even the big countries need to cooperate, need to help each other, to understand each other, and not against each other.
All right.
That one, even like the One Belt, One Road, we wish the U.S. can join the party because they can promote and sell their more productions to reduce the trade balance. That's going to benefit the U.S. people too. Yeah.
Matter of fact, it will benefit the U.S. because we do lots of import from China.
Yes.
And if we go take a look at Walmart, Kmart, stuff like that, or Target, and even Costco Club, you'll find lots of made in China. Almost a majority, a super majority of products made in China. The other day I was in Walmart. I was buying some frames for pictures.
Yes.
And I looked and I was surprised. I was so amazed that every frame was made in China.
Yes.
And then it came to my mind as a curiosity. Okay, let's look around if I could come across anything, any frame that is made in USA. I tried and then I tried and then tried. I searched all the shelves. I didn't even find one. So that's all made in China. So after all, nothing wrong with made in China. Good price, good quality, good frames. So why not? Something like that. Okay, if this goes on, it benefits consumers of the United States, including you and me. I like it, right? So why not? So you're in the business for so long. Your take?
I think it is the fact. I mean, initially, the America import $500 billion from China every year. And China import $110 billion.
110
billions. So the difference is like over 400 billion. So that's a huge number. Both the government also review and talk every year, try to make the balance. But the fact is, the manufacturing in the U.S. all moved to the Asian countries. A lot of in China. I mean the manufacturing side. So the U.S. has demand huge the requirement of the productions. So if China did not make it, the U.S. still need to import from the other countries.
All right. Okay.
So we could not complain why China sells so much to the U.S. I don't think it's a big issue. If China did not make it, you may import from Vietnam, Cambodia, Bangladesh. You don't know where, but the market need that. And the consumer.
Market demand is there.
Yes, yeah.
Right? Market demand is there. It is U.S. job to find the supplies.
Yes.
And China happens to be the one supplying.
Yes.
And of course, if you go to those supermarkets, you'll find from Myanmar, from Bangladesh, from Laos, even from Thais, right? And Malaysia, of course. If you go by Thais, Well, more chances you come across some ties made from Malaysian ties, right? So like that. So, U.S. demand, market demand is there, and China has the capability of doing it. Now, with the Belt and the Road, when China synchronized whole Asia, when Asian countries join the party all together, well, probably they could later on call, say, Made in Asia.
Yeah.
How about that? Made in Asia. Could that be a trend?
My opinion is that so U.S. has the trade imbalance not only with China. I think the second largest is like European countries, Canada, Mexico. That was huge. So every year the U.S. they have the $700 billion trade imbalance.
All right.
So not only that, of course, 50% from China.
So out of 700 billion, 300 is 47, 74
over 50
with China.
Yeah,
so that's quite a bit. Yes,
so
a fact, yes.
The U.S. needed to join the parties even China created, the One Belt One Road, because I remember we call the inland and the ocean roads. The relative countries over 47 countries, I think.
All right.
So these countries, they have very huge abilities to consume the productions, especially some high-tech things from the U.S. So I think U.S. gonna benefit itself if they join this party.
Oh yes, that's quite a way to go. All right. When I say way to go, I mean that U.S. could export to the One Belt One Road ring.
Yes.
I mean it's high tech. As military, whatever, national defense equipment.
The cars.
Machineries. And software stuff.
Yeah.
And the management skills, and those are the high valued merchandise than a pair of shoes, a pair of gloves, something like a pair of eyeglasses, something like that, right? So it's a way to turn off the unbalance and to diminish the trade deficit. Do you think so?
Yeah. So I mean, if you get the imbalance from this side, but you balance from another side. The example is, if U.S. did not join the party, for example, they want to do business with Pakistan, and but Pakistan, they want to buy some service from the U.S., but they may not have enough money. But China going to help those countries to build up what they need.
All right.
Financially going to support. So they can use some, maybe the bank loan or the money from China to buy the service, not only from China. They can buy from the U.S.
I see.
So, but if U.S. not in the party, so that made the Pakistan's no other choice. They say, okay, but I use your money, I buy a service from your country. So they buy from China.
I see.
But if U.S. is in the pictures, it's going to be different. So, so that one, I think the U.S. leaders need to think about it, to cooperate with China. They're going to benefit America too. Yeah.
Do you think Donald Trump and his administrations would think at that level to be actually smarter than what they do now? I like your example. If Pakistan wants to buy, say, U.S. rifles, for example, right, for their military equipment, right, and then they do not have the money, and China gives them the money. On return for my money, I need your corns, for example.
Yes.
I need your corns, right?
Yeah.
So you give me X, Y, Z number of tons of corns. I give you the money you needed to buy whatever stuff you want to buy from the United States.
Yeah.
So that gets U.S. involved. In a way, you're talking about win, win, win.
Yes.
Am I right?
It's like a link.
Like a link.
So
like a link.
Including the infrastructure.
And the U.S. is so happy because the trade balance, at least with Asia, got kind of set off a little bit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Very good.
So
So today, my dear audience, we're talking about the Belt and the Road. The Belt and the Road proposed a strategy, an international economical development strategy pushed forward created by Chinese government, and now being pushed forward by the summit, which I believe is going to be held in mid-May in Beijing, to be attended by more than 20 countries. Today we're doing a discussion to see the value of the strategy of the proposal. Joining me is my good friend, Mr. Edward Tsai. Mr. Edward Tsai is I call him a community leader, in a way that he really leads the community in pushing what is, we believe, in our eye, positive to U.S.-China relationship, right? Be it the culture exchange, be it the trade agreement, be it anything, or even a performance that we put on the community stage every time you see him there, right? So with that, we will, on behalf of the community, we thank you very much for doing. All right, let's take a very short moment now. When we come back, we'll continue the discussion. We would probably take a historical look for like 3 millenniums to see what this kind of a promotion would do to mankind. So stay with us, please. Hello, dear friends, my dear audience, and lovely fellow Americans. Welcome back to the show, Jack Chow on East West with G&E TV. Today with my friend Edward Tsai, President, Founder, and CEO of U.S. Jiangsu General Chamber of Commerce, we're sharing his thoughts on this big issue, the Belt and the Road. The Belt and the Road, a international development strategy initiated by China, and is now being pushed to onto a stage at such an elevation that 20 more countries are attending for the summit in mid-part of May. I'm myself a person of no political background, no partisanship, whatever. I like it because it's about money, which is so important to everybody, and which is so important to every country, even those less advanced countries, right? Now, in giving the assessment about this strategy, I'm sharing my questions with Mr. Tsai, and I believe that my audience might want the answers too, right? So now, looking into history, we're talking about 2,000 years ago, there was one movement. Oh, by the way, if you mention the term Silk Road, people probably know that, right? And now if you're talking about the Belt and Road, people might not know. So to you, from a historical point of view, how are they related, please?
We can went back to the Han Dynasty and the Tang Dynasty and the Song Dynasty. During that time, I think we started from the inland road, because during the Han Dynasty, we were not so good to make any big giant boat. So from Song and Ming Dynasty, even later, China could make the big ships, can just sail to the relative countries
the Chinese fleet,
by waters. Excuse me. So during that time, China was the platform to connect those countries just in trade needs and curious. China mainly sell the not only the silk, I think the China tea and China. Those things was main products to connect China and these countries. and China was famous for that before. And it was not only the trading, but the countries, the people, they established the relationship, the friendship. That was a very, very good start. And now we borrow the historical Silk Road and use the same way. So we're not copying the old things, the old ways, but we think that's necessary to promote more and more relationships. Some way we may lost, some may not that strong between China and those countries. I think it's a good chance to rebuild and strong these relationships, and those countries, they need a big country to work together with the big countries to get what they need, and of course that's a mutual. It's a mutual benefit.
Sure.
Yeah.
It is amazing that we can't help notice that in the Han Dynasty that you mentioned, that was 2,000 years ago, China created the first route, the Silk Road, going by land, right? Yeah. So that's what you may also call it a land route, right? Going all the way from China to the western region area, all the way up to Europe, and then all the way to Western Europe. It reaches at one point to as much as Hamburg in Germany, right? And that, if you call it the land route, and then in Ming Dynasty, Song Ming Dynasty, you're talking about the Chinese fleet, lots of ships, right, going all the way by water to the south end of the Asian Sea, right, whereby silk, in exchange to get their merchandise and brought them back to China. So another route, if you call that the water route, right? And it is one to the north of land route, one to the south at water route. Now the belt and the road, it sounds to me a ring, right? With the belt and with the land and water, it goes like a circle.
Yes.
Right? If United States joins in, it goes all the way to United States like that, includes Russia. Okay, it looks like a ring. So it's a connection. Am I right to look at a picture like that?
Yeah, something like that. I think in Han Dynasty, the Silk Road started from Xi'an, some area like that.
Xi'an.
And all the way go through the Middle East countries, and even to the Europe. To
all right,
Italy,
and went up north to Europe, yes.
To Italy somewhere. So, and in Song, the Ming Dynasty, I think the maritime road, we call the ocean road, so started from Guangzhou, Guangzhou, Fuzhou, and even later from Ningbo. So this like a circle, yes, to connect the China with all those countries. Yeah, not only for the exchange of the cargoes, the production, also is exchange of the culture.
All right. Okay.
Cultural inclusions and yeah, this so we need to continue the historical thing and to promote more friendship in the Chinese culture to the One Belt One Road relative countries, and we also need to learn the advanced culture from this country too.
All right.
That kind of change can make more peaceful and understanding between the people
I know
and
one
the
thing
government.
for a fact that cats, especially the pushing cats, right, are from the Silk Road. Before the Silk Road, there was no cat in China.
Yes.
And also tomatoes.
Yes.
Tomatoes probably supposed to be from somewhere from western regions.
Yes.
Right? And well, there are lots of things started here, find a home finally in China, and so does everything like tea, Chinese tea.
Yes.
Going all the way to Europe.
Yes.
Right? So quite exchange. I'm hoping someday, somehow, the whole world. Oh, now the term is called synchronization. You synchronize. You put everything for everybody has on the table, and then you distribute it.
Yeah.
And that leads me to one principle that I'm going to ask you for your opinion. All right. Now we hear a slogan. Now we hear a slogan of patriotism, right? Being patriotic by buying your own products. Say buying United States, buying U.S. made, because that's a patriotic act. So, I mean, if you go further on a higher elevation, there's nothing can make you a distinction of that. If you disassemble a car U.S. made, you will find Japanese batteries, German engine, all right, or South African tires, and so on and so forth, and something even from China. It's a combination of everybody's product.
Yes.
So, am I making a point by saying that the patriotic act or the kind of issue has a limitation? Am I right by saying that?
My opinion is that nowadays, the country, between country and countries, they need to cooperate. Even the production like cars, you could have the components, the parts from different countries.
Yes, of course.
So it's kind of like internationalized production.
Yes.
Even like the aircraft. Boeing, they may buy some components from Japan. It's not all made in the U.S. Even some parts is from China.
Yes, you are. Oh, you're right.
Yeah, some aircraft parts
you're
from
right.
China. So that's why, I mean, you cannot simply just think about I sell you or I buy your productions. Some production may be a combination. Some parts are from me, but I still buy the finished production from you. So that's kind of like a more concept of the common.
Of course.
So even from the productions, we can see the cooperation from the different countries.
All right.
So in large view, I think between country and countries, they still need the cooperations from the bigger view, and including the detailed productions.
All right.
So that way gonna benefit everyone.
Yeah, I do understand that, and I agree with that, because by trade administration, you do have a certain calculation, say, above 85% U.S. You can call it U.S. made, right? And then the other 15% could be from anybody else, something like that, or 90 or 95%, so on and so forth. That is kind of the way of doing calculation. As a matter of fact, at the end of the day, you're talking about, without the 15% extra, you're not talking about product, right? So, for example, if I buy a cell phone like this, right, and U.S. technology for sure, right, and the Korea added something to it and made it theirs, and then is using the parts in South Asian countries, shift to China, and assemble the phone. And the phone goes to United States, and it's sold as a U.S. made phone. But a U.S. made phone. As a matter of fact, it's assembled in China with the parts from everywhere. So there's no definition of this phone being U.S. made, and yet it is U.S. made. Something like that, right? So people at this level, at this today's level, we really want to talk about, we need to update our understanding, right? Update our definition, right? For that, I believe that you're involved in the trade area for so long, and I need your take, please.
It's kind of things are very complex. For the trading, I think nowadays between the country and the country, or the government, they want to see the trading partners to take the wall of the trade protection, to do like a normal business. But from another way, some countries, they're still watching out and protect their own manufacturers and employments. So they need to protect. So the arguments between the countries, they happen all the time. It becomes like a normal issue.
So trade wars are normal.
Yeah, sometimes they use the tax wars, tariff, to the import duties, to raising the duties. There are a lot of ways.
Anti-dumping laws.
Anti-dumping, right? Yes, anti-dumping production. So that way gonna hurt the business between the countries. Because if you use one weapons, they're gonna use another weapons, then argument happen. So
in other words, at the end of the day, you are talking about internationalism and patriotism.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
Right. You're international or you're patriotic.
Yes.
So it is this. It is. So if you think on a level, on an elevation about everything is shared by human being, it's all mankind process, right? Assess. And that's one take. And you can also say, this is mine, that's yours, okay, there's a line here, that's the other concept, right? So now, you are, at the end of the day, talking about conceptually, you're dividing the concept in two different groups, right? So with that, we want to take another segment to talk about, to find several definitions. So that probably will clear up the picture. Stay with us, please. Hello, dear audience. Welcome back to the show. Lovely friends, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the East-West show with G&E TV. Jack Chow, your proud host. Today we're talking about the Belt and the Road, initiated by China, introduced recently, and with the summit being held, to be held mid-part of May in Beijing, to be attended by expected to be more than 20 countries. Now, him and I, Mr. Edward Tsai, President, founder, and the CEO of U.S. Jiangsu General Chamber of Commerce, we're talking about the significance of the Belt and the Road, called One Belt, One Road, the Belt and the Road, the Belt and the Road, different ways, yet it is something that we understood after the three segments of discussion. There is an effort to combine the land route with the water route to make it a ring that promotes at least the better being, the development of Asian countries. Right? Should the United States get involved? Would the United States take part in? Well, we put it in question and stay there, yet it will benefit the United States a lot of ways right now. Okay, from that point of view, there's lots of definition about China. There's lots of controversy about China, right? So, in your mind, is China a developed country or developing country?
As of now, my opinion is still a developing country.
Developing country.
Yeah, because the coast area, the east, south, the coast area, occupy like over 70% of the industries of China. So the mid area, the west area, and then the north part of China, is still backward. So there's a long way to go to develop it. We're talking about the balance. There's no balance. So we still need time to promote, to develop these areas, the provinces. But China is doing great.
But China has a lot of money.
And doing well. But China is big. Remember, China is big and the population is large. So their averagely, we're talking about the GDP, the number getting up, like the second in the world, but averagely still low. So the population is another issue. So China still needed to open the door widely to promote more business with more countries. The experience to the China, that way is correct. And China will continue that way to do it. China signed the agreement with East Asia Association countries with the duty free. So the production can
duty free zone, yes.
No, you mean the import and export. If China export to the East Asia countries, they charge zero duties, and their production export to China charges zero duty too. That's like
free
a
trade,
free trade
relationship.
Yes, like the mutual way. That one can help those countries to sell more their production to China, but China need that one, and China also can sell more the productions to these countries they need. So this kind of the positive exchange it is good to everyone.
In other words, it is wrong to look at China as a developed country with lots of money playing around or bossing around. It is true, it is correct to look at China as a developing country with lots of areas and field needs to be developed, and yet because their coastal lines, they are doing so well, they have money, so they have the money to look for more development, further development, and in the process of approaching, they want to take the other countries together. Oh, let's have fun. Let's get together, work something else that will benefit me and you too. Something like that, right?
Yes.
So this, if you're taking China, you look at China like this, there's no competition of any kind in between China and any other countries. Am I right?
Yeah, we can see, look at the number of GDP increasing. China is still leading the world, I think.
Money, of course. China has lots of money.
I mean, the economy growing is still leading the world. It means this will bring more chances to the other countries, including the U.S. Because once China is getting, right.
China is the biggest creditor to the U.S.
Yeah.
So we owe China a lot.
Yeah. So Chinese government, we heard of the Chinese government always talk to the U.S. side.
And you know what? If U.S. has to borrow money, I would prefer U.S. borrow from China.
Yeah.
Because someday we can work out. If we borrow from somebody else, no. I'm happy with this.
Yeah, because China has the highest rank of the reserve of the Federal Reserve of not only renminbi, also the U.S. dollars. So
they're hardworking people. They want to save money. They know how to save money.
They export more. So the U.S. side need to export more to China. Not only your machineries, the reclamations, the recycling stuffs, and also the fertilizers. Those are the productions. I mean, U.S. need to sell or export more the services, including the high techs. Those things have value.
You're right.
If they sell more of this production to China,
you're right.
U.S. going to benefit a lot. This also can help China to grow faster too. It's like a mutual benefit.
One ocean-going vessel holds like 50,000 tons of, let's say corns. Worth a few dollars, right? Worth a few dollars. It's money, but still worth a few dollars. Yeah. What if you put a shiploads of high-tech stuff, right? Yeah. And then sometimes you just do not even have to put anything onto a ship, into a container. You just do the technology exchange. Okay, here's the technology. That is for $10 billion.
Yeah.
like that kind.
Yeah.
And China is willing to put the money to buy.
Yeah.
There's $100 billion like that,
Yeah.
and technical exchange. And then they can do what they think. They call, say, the space programs,
Yes.
right? Now that China has the money, and China can say, I can help you with your space programs, and you let me share some of the satellite or something like that.
Technology.
Technology. Yeah. That could set off the trade deficit in a very fast way. Do you think so?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but the space technology, I think U.S. spent a lot of money on that.
China, I mean, U.S. can export meat to China.
Yeah,
They can sell lots of money.
They're leading, in the world. Yes, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
But I think U.S. and China start to cooperate in this way, but still in a low level. For example, the missiles help to send the U.S. Satellite to the space. The service,
Right,
kind
okay.
of the service.
Service thing,
Service
service-wise,
just
yeah.
because it's cheaper.
Service-wise.
It's cheaper. So,
And there's one thing I would like to share with you. And we're talking about synchronization, right? Synchronization means that number one, you want to synchronize everything we have so far. Okay. Number two, you don't want to duplicate the works. Now it looks to me everybody is duplicating their own process for the same thing. For example, U.S. has already landed in the moon. They're working to the Mars, right? And in the process, China is surfacing around the moon, has not landed anything yet.
yes.
Right now, why can't they share something on the landing moon thing issue to save energy, save money, save everything? Because to U.S., the landing on the moon is history already.
Yes.
It's past technology, right? It's past secret. Okay, why don't them share each other with the money, with everything? And China is not wasting its own efforts trying to find out themselves. I think like internationally, I'm talking about saving money, time, and energy. Do you think that's approach?
Yes, I think so, because so nowadays, not only the America, the European countries, and Russia, even China, for the humans to develop and use the space science to service the Earth and the people in the Earth, it's a concept in common.
Yes.
So I think the big countries need to exchange the technologies and to help each other. That gonna make more achievement.
All right.
And,
Desensitize the technology,
Yeah.
right? Desensitize the secrecy, because it's past history anyway.
Yes.
So when China is still orbiting around the moon, though, here's the technology you want to buy.
Yeah.
I want to sell you for $1,000 billion,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And China would say, okay, probably let's buy. And then with the $1,000 billion, trade offset is settled right away. No problem.
Yeah. Not including the fund, the money, the technology. I think the scientists need to
Of
exchange
course.
each
Okay,
other,
alright,
to
okay.
learn from each other.
Okay.
That gonna help. Not only China gonna benefit from this.
The key,
the people.
the key is among themselves. If China and the United States sit by the table, say, hey, let's set off, they can set off right away.
Yeah.
One decision making will set off, right?
Yeah.
Okay, very good. My dear audience, we're over time, but I enjoyed it. I enjoyed every single minute of it, talking with my friend, Edward Tsai, President and Founder CEO of U.S. Jiangsu General Chamber of Commerce, and quite a thinker and quite a successful business entrepreneur. And we're sharing his thoughts on the issue regarding the Belt and the Road strategy pushed forward by China. And we're not done yet. We will still talk about it later, or even sometime May during the summit, we will talk again. But to my audiences, so much for today. Thank you very much for watching. And to Edward, thank you very much for shedding light on the issue and for sharing.
You're welcome. I enjoyed this. Thank you.